can't believe I'm doing this. Okay, it's fine. Hello there, everybody. I'm here today to bring you a new video on my channel. Basically, I only film videos when I have a good idea or am inspired to do something, and I haven't felt that in a really long time. I also moved. I live in Boston now with my best friend as my roommate, so this is my new room with all my IKEA furniture. It's very exciting. I had an idea for this video when I was thinking about how slow I read. I'm a very slow reader, and a lot of people around me can attest to that. My best friend can wipe through a series in a weekend. My sister reads books like overnight, and I have always kind of been like, it takes me at least a month to read a book, especially a bigger book, and in the recent years it's taken me more than 1 month to get through a book, and so, you know, I've read less and less books as the years have gone on. But something that I combat that with is I remember books. Like, I do not forget characters' names or, you know, how I felt about it or the plot line of it. I don't think a lot of other people can say who are speed readers, because the stories kind of blend in their heads, maybe, I don't know. And so I'm doing this video in an attempt to see how well I remember books. So as someone who's a slower reader, who takes more of my time, who has to reread every page at least twice, sometimes 4 times, I want to see how much I actually remember the books that I've read over the past 6 or 7 years. So with all that being said, I have a hat here, and inside this hat is pieces of paper of basically every book I've read that I still own. I took pictures of both my bookshelves and wrote down every book that I've read up to this point that I haven't unhauled for any reason. So every book that's still on my shelf. And then I have a questionnaire here that basically is just a list of questions that I have to ask myself to see if I actually know what these books are about. When I was writing down the titles, I could feel like I knew some of them, so I have hope. I'm excited. It feels like a game, so okay, we're just gonna jump into it now. To all the boys I've loved before. This is probably an easy one. Let me consult my list here. So the first thing I have to do is describe the cover. I know exactly what this cover looks like. It has an Asian American teenager on it. She's in her bedroom. There's Polaroids on the walls, and she has magazine cutouts on the walls, and she's laying on her bed, and she has a journal open and she's writing in it. When did I read it? I know I was still in high school when I read this. It was before the first movie came out. I'm gonna say September 2016. I have no clue how accurate that is. What genre is it? I know for sure this is a contemporary YA romance. I know that the main character's name is Laura Jean Song Covey, which partially is due to the movies being so popular, so I can't help that, but that's her name. The love interest name I know is Peter Kavinsky and John Ambrose McLaren and Josh. Okay, so I don't know Josh's last name, but he's a secondary love interest, so I'm not gonna count that. This book is about a girl who writes love letters to her crushes to kind of get over them, and then one day all of her letters have been sent out to the guys, I guess. They've been sent out and they read them, and so they're kind of responding, and she has to deal with the aftermath. And then she doesn't want her neighbor, Josh, who she actually has a crush on, to know she has a crush on him, so she does a fake relationship with one of the other guys who received a letter, Peter Kavinsky, and they fake date, and then they end up falling in love. It's a very popular Netflix movie, so you probably know about it. The next thing is just random details you remember, and something I remember that I wrote in my Goodreads review. On Halloween, she dresses up as Cho Chang, and Josh dresses up as Harry Potter, and I wanted so badly Peter Kavinsky to dress up as Cedric Diggory. I don't know why he would. He didn't seem like a Harry Potter fan, or that's such a minor character too, he would never do that, but I don't know why. It just seemed so perfect to me, and the fact that she didn't do it, I don't even remember what he ended up going as. That's just the thing that's stuck in my mind from that book the most, and they didn't put it in the movie, so The next thing is, what did I think of it? I can remember liking this book. I don't think I really loved it. I read it pretty fast, I think. But my main pet peeve is that I felt like Lauren Jean didn't have enough of a personality in the first book. I did read the second book and I felt she had a much more of a personality in that book. And even in the movie she does too. But something about her just like going to school and going home and then dating this guy was like, you don't like have any hobbies or you don't do anything on the side. It just felt very bland to me, and so I didn't love the first book as much as I think I wanted to. So I do think I gave it a 3 stars on Goodreads, which is another one of my questions. How many stars did I give it? I do think I gave it 3 stars. I might have given it 4 stars and then I bumped it down to 3. All right, let's pick another one. I'm excited now. That was a good start. Whew. I'm ready. Okay, so the next one is The Upside of Unrequited, which when I was writing this down, I was kind of like, ooh, I hope that doesn't get picked because I really don't remember that much about this book. I read this book on a cruise ship and I read it in like 2 days, so really gonna be interested in how much I remember from this book. Okay, describe the cover. This is pretty easy. I know it's like a light blue, and then it has 2 arrows, like one going up, one going down. There's like a frowny face on one, maybe a frowny face, maybe, I don't know what kind of face, I don't know what the face is making. There's a face. It says the Upside of Unrequited, which is by, oh my god, authors is a whole nother thing. It's by Becky Albertalli. To All the Boys I Loved Before is by Jenny Han. That's an added thing that I didn't write down. I know exactly when I read it. So like I said, I was on a cruise ship. It was the summer after I graduated high school, so it was the summer of 2017, and it was July. So July 2017, I know that's right. The genre is again a YA contemporary romance. We're in the same part of my shelf right now. I know the main character's name is Molly and the love interest's name is Reed? Is that right? Oh my god, I did not remember that when I wrote it down. I think it's Reed. Editing Aaron, double check and make sure his name is Reed. What is it about? The plot. Something I remember from this book is that I remember it not really having that much of a plot. It's kind of like a slice of life book. I remember her getting a new job. She meets the guy at her new job. She kind of is in this place where every crush she's had has been unrequited, so like no one's ever liked her back, and then there's this guy, but then there's another guy who she likes. She like starts to go somewhere with him, but then she realizes she actually likes the other guy who likes her back at her work. Her moms are getting married, and so there's a wedding, and she's Jewish, and her sister is bisexual. Her sister kind of goes through this thing of like dating someone and then breaking up with that person because she's scared to be with another girl. I might totally be making this up. My biggest thing is that I don't remember much of this book because I don't really think it had an overarching plot to it. I really liked it. I don't think I loved it, so I think I gave it 4 stars on Goodreads. Yeah, I think it was really cute, it was really fun, and I read it super fast. And it was my first Becky Albertalli, so I was having a good time with it. But ultimately, it's kind of forgettable because it doesn't have something to make you remember it. So that's all I gotta say about that one. Whew, I want a fantasy. It's another YA contemporary romance. Okay, so the next one I got is The Unexpected Everything by Morgan Matson. I don't know why I can't get out of YA contemporary romance, but here's another one. Describe the cover. It's a girl on an ice cream truck. She's walking like 5 dogs and they're outside in like a park. Pretty sure. I'm gonna say I read it August 2017 or June 2017. No, I take it back. June 2017 is when I read it. The main character's name is Andy and the love interest name is Clark. I like them as a couple, so I remembered their names. It's about a girl who is like trying to go to this medical summer camp, and her dad's a politician, but then her dad like gets in some scandal, so she gets rejected from the summer camp, and so she like has to figure out what to do with her summer, and so she becomes a dog walker, and through walking dogs, she ends up walking dogs for her potential love interest, and so she meets him, and he's an author. It's kind of their summer with her friend group and Clark. It's really cute. It's my second favorite Morgan Matson. Yeah, I had a really fun time with that book. I remember her one friend was a stage manager, and I loved that. I love it when theater's in a book, and Morgan Matson writes theater into all of her books. She's one of my favorite authors. They like plan a scavenger hunt that they do every year. I loved it so much because like they were running around town and they like had to go to steal a menu from a diner, and then like they had to catch a firefly in a glass or something. Clark's an author, and so he writes, or like they write a story together that's like they give themselves fake names and they like write a story about them and they keep coming back to the story. Oh, it's so cute. And then at the end, she runs to his book signing, stands up while he's doing like a speech and like announces it or something. I don't remember the exact details. I just know she goes to his book signing and it's like a big thing. I gotta reread this book because I'm like having a way too good of a time explaining it to you. I know I gave this book 5 stars. I can like picture the Goodreads review, so I know I gave it 5 stars. I really loved it. Put so many dystopians and so many fantasies in here, and I'm just waiting. We finally got not YA contemporary romance. So this book is Queen of Shadows by Sarah J. Maas. This book is red. Selena's on the cover. I think she has weapons in both hands. She's kind of doing like a this or a this with weapons. Her hair's short compared to long because she cuts it in the book. I take books with me places, and so this book I know I took on a road trip with me, and I know it was in 2016 or 2015. I think it was August 2016 that I read this book because I was reading all of the Throne of Glass books in 2016, so it had to have been this because I read 5 of them straight in 2016, and I was on a road trip when I read this. This is YA high fantasy. Some people like to say that Sarah J. Maas doesn't write high fantasy. I believe it is high fantasy, maybe like middle high fantasy. I don't think it's low fantasy. That's all I gotta say. The main character's name is Selena. She has like 5 names in the series. I could list them all for you, but who's got the time? I'm gonna list all of the love interests that Selena has. Basically, she has a love interest named Sam, Dorian, Kale, and Rowan. I'm not gonna tell you who she's with in this book, and that's all I'm gonna say. This is the 4th book in the Throne of Glass series, so it's the Throne of Glass story. In the 4th book, we've returned to Rifthold, or Ardaland. Yeah, Ardaland, which is where Dorian's family rules over. Rowan's not there. We are trying to kill Arabin. We have to free Dorian from the Val curse. The thing about fantasy sequels is like there's so much that happens in each one of them that like how am I supposed to, like it's one overarching story. Random details I can give you. I know that there's a lot of Lysandra in this book, Adian's in this book. Rowan has like some great comeback. I'm really getting this book confused with Empire Storms. I know we kill Arabin. I know we free Dorian. Kale's mad at us. There's a scene with a golden nightgown. I know I gave this book 5 stars because this is my favorite Throne of Glass book. I haven't read Tower of Dawn or Kingdom of Ash, but I liked this book more than the rest. I think the only one I didn't give 5 stars was Air of Fire. The next one we're gonna do. I'm just picking like all my favorite books, what the heck. So the next one I pulled was Cress, which is the 3rd book in the Lunar Chronicles series and my favorite of the Lunar Chronicles. Like dark purple, because they're all dark purple, and then it has Cress's braid, and then like a red scarf around it, and then her hand is like posed in the corner. This book is by Marissa Meyer, by the way. So I know I read this book during a booktubeathon back in my booktubeathon crazy days. I think it had to have been 2015. I'm gonna go with it was July of 2015. It was either that or June of 2015, but it was in that range. I consider it a YA sci-fi slash dystopian, but it's also a retelling, so like it could also be fantasy, but it's not fantasy, it's more dystopian sci-fi retelling. It's fairy tales retold. Each book kind of follows their own character, so I guess the main character of this book is Cress, and her love interest is Captain Thorn. It's the 3rd book of the Lunar Chronicles series, so it kind of follows the Lunar Chronicles. This is a retelling of the story of Rapunzel, so she's like locked in a satellite tower in space, and then she breaks free and she gets lost in a desert with Thorn, who's another character from the series, and he's blinded temporarily, so she's like leading a blind man through a desert and she's never been on Earth before. Random details I can remember about this book. I know that she sets up a like game to play with her satellite while she's still stuck up there. She like dramatically cuts her hair, or Thorn cuts her hair, somebody cuts her hair. She doesn't have long hair in the book. They find a like oasis in the desert and there's people there. I have no idea what happens there. There's also like Kai scenes in the book, Cinder scenes in the book, Scarlet scenes in the book, Winter scenes. Like, it's not all about Cress, but honestly, I can't remember a single thing about the rest of those characters. Obviously, this is my favorite of the Luna Chronicles, and all the Luna Chronicles books are kind of my faves. So I gave it 5 stars, and it's my favorite. So obviously, I liked it. Cress is also my favorite character, and her and Thorn are my favorite ship from the series. So on to the next one. We got the selection. The next one is The Selection by Kiera Cass. If you don't know, this book is my everything. This book is my life. It is a girl in a teal blue dress that's got like ruffles on it. She's holding her hand over herself like this or something. Mirrors around her so you see the same version of the character. I've seen the video where they explain how they took the cover photo. So this was one of the first books I read when I got into reading a lot. So I know it was the summer of 2014. I'm gonna say August because I don't think I read it immediately, but it was either July or August of 2014. The genre is a YA dystopian. The main character's name is America Singer. I don't think I've given last names to any of these other characters, but I know that it's America Singer. The love interest name, I guess there's 2. You have Maxon and Aspen. I say Maxon's last name as Screevy, and I don't think that's right because I've heard a lot of people say Shrev, and I think that's really gross. So I say Screevy, and then Aspen Ledger is the other love interest. Let me know in the comments how you pronounce Maxon's last name, because I've always said Screevy. Maxon Screevy. It sounds terrible to say it out loud. But like Shrev sounds so ugly. The Selection is basically The Bachelor meets YA dystopian. Everyone was comparing them when they first came out of like The Hunger Games meets The Bachelor, and like, yeah, that is what it is. Every time there's like an eligible prince in this country, this dystopian future American country, he gets 35 women from the country like come and compete to be the princess and eventually the queen. It's literally the format of The Bachelor. So if you've ever seen The Bachelor, it's literally that, just like in a dystopian world with royalty instead of just some random guy. The funny thing about The Selection is I don't think I've ever reread a book more. I think I've reread this book like 30 times. At least like reread my favorite scenes. So I know there's a scene where she's trying to run out and he catches her in the garden, and then I know there's a scene where they go on their first date and she kicks him in the groin. There's the whole thing with the strawberry tarts and the deal to get her sister to laugh. I can break down like the entire caste system to you. This feels unfair because I know this book way too well. Obviously I gave it 5 stars. It's one of my favorite books ever. It's not even a guilty pleasure for me. It is simply just one of my favorite things. I love this series. I love Kiera Cass. I followed her on YouTube for a really long time and like watched all her really old Selection YouTube videos. Epic Reads used to be obsessed with this series, so I've seen a lot of their content on it. And Netflix is now trying to make a movie for some reason. It's like the 4th time they've been optioned for something, and my heart wants it. I want it so bad because I know it could be so fun and like everyone would really like it. But I'm so nervous. Okay, the next one is Tiger Lily. Oh my gosh, who is it by? Someone Lynn Anderson. Jenny Lynn Anderson? Jamie Lynn Anderson? Jen Lynn Anderson? Someone Lynn Anderson. It's a black cover and then it has like an orange lily on it. I read this book during a booktubeathon again. I think it was the same year I read Cress, so I think it was 2015. The main character's name is Tiger Lily, and the love interest name is Peter Pan because it's a story about Tiger Lily falling in love with Peter Pan. Yeah, I don't know if that's right. I didn't love it, so I've never really reread it. I believe Tiger Lily falling in love with Peter Pan. Now I don't even know if that's correct. Yeah, she's like the daughter of the chief, and so she doesn't have a lot of rights and they want to arrange a marriage for her, but she doesn't want that, but then eventually she like gives into it. Don't really remember that much happening in this book. Tinkerbell's in it, I do believe. What did I think of it? How many stars did I give it? I think I gave it 3 or 4 stars. Like I said, I didn't love it. I was kind of annoyed at the end. It's not super memorable. I like it because it's about Peter Pan. I like Peter Pan retellings, and it had a pretty cover, so I've kept it for those reasons, but I've never reread it. Margot from Epic Reads. It was her favorite book, so I had to read it, and also it was about Peter Pan, and then I was just really disappointed. Okay, my camera's flashing at me and I've been filming for like 45 minutes now, so I think we're gonna do one more, see if we can get through that, and then we're gonna close her out. Okay, this is the one I picked. This is definitely the one I picked. I didn't go through like 5 and turn them down because I wanted to have a good last one. So this is Passenger by Alexandra Bracken. Blue, and it's got like a boat on it. Does it? It's a boat in a bottle. A ship in a bottle, and it's blue and like a lighter blue. It says Passenger. I'm pretty positive I read this January 2016, which is around the time it came out. Either that or February 2016. I am pretty sure on that one. It's kind of like all over the place. I would consider it like a YA fantasy slash historical fantasy, maybe? YA historical fantasy. The main character's name, I remember this. Her name is Etta, and it's short for Henrietta. And I've remembered that because I just really liked that name. I think the love interest name is Henry, but I also am thinking it's Alex. No, it's not Alex. It's Henry. I think the love interest name is Henry. It's about a girl who's like a violin prodigy, and then she realizes she can travel in time because she's part of like a line of time travelers. And so she teams up with this other guy who's a time traveler, and they like go back in time. They're looking for some artifact, and they are like being chased by someone, so they're going back in time to like different areas. I remember really liking the like all the different areas we got to see, because like one was like colonial America, and then we were in like on a boat. Were we in Russia? I think I gave it 5 stars at the time, but now I think I would give it 4 stars just because it hasn't lasted with me that much. But the writing was beautiful and the story was really cool, and I still want to read the sequel, so it has lasted, in my opinion. So I have a lot more that I didn't go through, but I think that's going to be all for today. I feel like I remember a lot more than I think I do. I also reread books a lot. That's why I keep books on my shelf. Mostly the reason I unhaul is if I didn't like a book enough to ever reread it, so I will get rid of it. And I've unhauled a couple of books in my lifetime. Some books just don't do it for me. So that's gonna be it for this video. I had a really fun time doing this. Let me know down below if you like think you retain information from books, or if you just skim read and then never forget it, or like never think about it again and forget about it. Like, I'm really actually interested in seeing if how fast you read lines up with how well you retain the information of a book and how well you remember it. So let me know down below if you have any thoughts about that, and if you liked this video, you can give it a thumbs up. But thank you for watching this video, and I hope you're having a great day. So yeah, bye!